Welcome to your Daily 5 for Monday, August 21st, 2023. I watched a movie that, honestly, the poster is such a misrepresentation of what this movie is. And it's a movie where if you listen to a lot of these shows, or a lot of the fives that I do, or movie reviews that I do, I should say specifically, a lot of times I will tell you, in the first 10 minutes, you're going to know whether you like this movie or not. That is generally a pretty accurate way to gauge most of the movies that I review. However, in the case of 1971's Werewolves on Wheels, that is not accurate. You cannot go by anything that you see of this movie for a little while and none of its marketing materials. If you look at the poster for this movie, you'll understand why I wanted to watch it. It looks like it is a gonzo werewolf film where the werewolves are bikers. I mean, Werewolves on Wheels sounds like a movie about bikers who go around and become werewolves. That's what you would think. You start watching the movie, and for a while, you think maybe that is what you're going to get. The opening 10 minutes is it's pretty misleading in terms of what the rest of the movie is going to be. But what this film really is, and I'm going to spoil it to some degree because I doubt most of you will ever watch this thing. Now, I watched it on Tubi. It's on a bunch of different free channels. And for most people, they'll be happy they didn't pay for it. Because the audience for something like this is a subset of a subset of a subset of movie people. Weirdos like me who are... Because I'll tell you, I watched this thing once. I'm glad I saw it. I had a good time with it once I realized what it was going to be. But I'll never watch it again. I mean, I just won't. I don't think most people would make it 20 minutes into this thing. Because for a movie that is, in title anyway, about biker werewolves, I'm not exaggerating. This is not made up. It's not a lie. You don't see the movie is an hour and 20 minutes long. You don't see a werewolf in any type of clear view until 9 minutes before the movie ends. That is not an exaggeration. I looked at the clock. 9 minutes and change left before you see a werewolf with any clarity. You see shapes, you see a hand here and there with some fur on it, but you don't see an actual werewolf person until 9 minutes before the end of the film. And the end of the film, oh boy, that will really irritate some people. Now, I'll save some of the details for my review on Friday because I'm going to run through this whole thing, and I've pulled sound clips and everything because this one, it's far more interesting to talk about, I think, for most people than it will be for them to watch it. Now, I had a good time with it. I have to admit, once I understood what this was, which honestly, if you told me that a bunch of, because I know from what I read, there's a bunch of people in the movie who are actual bikers. If you told me that a bunch of bikers were given a film camera and they just wandered around for 2 weeks, because this was a 16-day shoot, and just got high and shot a movie because they had a couple of werewolf masks, I would have no trouble believing it. Because this is, 71, early 70s, this is a bunch of people that are so doped up that they really don't care about what they're making. Although I should say, because I'm saying this as if it's a really terrible movie, it's actually shot at times really well. There's a couple of interesting shots in this. So it's not a no effort thing. It really isn't. That would not be fair. But it is so fever dream, stream of consciousness. We're just going to linger on shots of people and make stuff up in the middle of the desert type of filmmaking that, again, I cannot imagine that most people will even make it to the end. And once you do, I really don't know that there's more than, let's say, 50 people on the planet who would ever watch it again. And that might be being generous. It's, again, not that it's a terrible film, but it's really just okay, you're going to experience this thing and then you're done type of film. It's one of those. So I don't think I would recommend it to most people, but you can watch it for free. If you want, start watching it. But it's an experience and not necessarily one that you want to have more than once. But it's the kind of film that just doesn't get made anymore. And it's not just because it's meandering and it's the 70s and biker culture, but it's just the whole thing is just this really weird approach to filmmaking. So, if you're curious, you can absolutely watch it for free all over the place. I'm sure it's on YouTube too. I watched it on Tubi. But just be aware, that poster, no, that's not what you're getting. So again, 1971, Werewolves on Wheels. Not so many werewolves, lots of wheels. If you like biker stuff, you'll like that. It's not for everybody, but I can't say that I'm sorry I watched it. Later.